You know, I like the Creed movies and everything, but am I the only one that would be really, really excited for a new Drago series after it's all over?
It's laser time and we're gonna do a review. Yes, we're gonna review. Talk about movies and comics too. Let's all go watch the review. Yeah.
Hello everybody, how's it going? I am Laser Dude, and it is time for another Laser Dude review. Today we're reviewing Creed 2, starring Michael B. Jordan, Sylvester Stallone, and Dolph Lundgren. So if you don't know, I love the first Creed movie. I saw it just in time because I just recently watched the first Rocky right before it, like a week or two before, and so I was actually excited for it to see where the next step in the franchise was. And then I saw Creed, and I thought it was great. I thought it was a great step forward in the franchise, moving it in a different direction. And now we get the sequel, Creed 2, where we get to see Creed take on the son of Ivan Drago, the man who killed his father. Honestly, it's really an interesting concept for that, because you got Sylvester Stallone as Rocky and Ivan Drago. They have the butting head rivalry with each other. You know, because Ivan Drago, after losing to Rocky, his entire life he's basically been exiled from the Russian government because, oh, you lost, so we don't care about you no more. And so he's been training his son super, super hard to be the best boxer ever. And then when Creed wins the heavyweight champion of the world belt, it's like the setting couldn't be more perfect. It was the exact right moment to set his son on the stage. So we got Rocky versus Ivan, Victor versus Donnie, and then we have like Donnie who wants to do this because of what his father went through, but then it brings up different feelings in it because you got someone like Rocky who is still tortured to this day about not throwing into the towel on the fight and stopping it. Now he's really afraid, like he doesn't want to go through this again. Like even though, you know, things are different now. There'll probably be better safety regulations and better script writing that wouldn't, you know, just do that. No, I'm kidding. But anyways, you know, it's like they have his character still really afraid to go through all this again. Now, the thing that I was surprised how much I liked, like I said in the intro, was the Drago side of this fight. You know, usually, a lot of the times you just get I'm the big bad villain and I must defeat you, I must break you. And they do have that, but they also, even though his son, Victor Drago, doesn't say a whole lot, they do a lot to show his drive. He's really driven fully through sheer, like, will of Ivan Drago. You know, Ivan Drago has put every bitterness, every hatred of losing to Rocky into his son, and his son has embodied that, but also has a bunch of other stuff that he has to go through. Like, there's this whole thing with Victor Drago's mother that's barely explained, only hinted at, but it really gives the character a lot more drive, and you really feel for him. You know, he's less like, here's the thing that you must hate, and here's an opponent, and this is what drives him. As I said, I'd be actually interested after seeing this movie to see what happens next in the Drago saga, you know? You know, like, after losing this, where does he go from here? Where is his character going? What's his journey on? Now, that being said, I think that this movie, what it suffers from is a little bit as, while the story stuff is definitely goes into new places. You know, we continue on his relationship with Bianca, and we get to go on from there, which is good. I always hated it when you get movies like this, where it's like it builds up a relationship with a woman in the first film, but then we don't really have any place to put her, so they broke up in between sequels. But no, they continued their relationship, put it to the next level, and go further with it? What are they going to do with that and stuff like that? And I like that aspect of it, of how Donnie has to, move up and become more responsible in his relationship and stuff like that. But when it comes to the boxing, the story is a little bit more straightforward. I knew which fights he was going to win, I knew which fights he was going to lose, or I knew which battles it wasn't going to turn out well. I kind of had a feeling. And the last fight wasn't as, like when I'm thinking to the last fight in the first Creed movie, that one felt like, oh my gosh. This, it felt immensely crazy is what it did, and I'm not sure if they reached the same level of brutality and whatnot. I still think it's good, though. I don't want to come across as I'm disliking this movie, because I actually did really enjoy it quite a bit. I think it was really, really good. Sylvester Stallone is still he's like the perfect type of actor to play this type of character as Rocky. He's very down to earth. He's very, I don't know. He doesn't know a whole lot, but the things he does know about, he knows a bunch of, so to speak. He doesn't know a lot about life. He doesn't know a lot about this or that. When it comes to boxing, he knows what he's talking about. And I think one thing that this movie does, which the last movie did really well too, is they keep the world feeling as real as possible. We feel like we're in the world with Rocky Balboa, and that there was an Apollo Creed, and they treat everything as seriously as possible. And it's like, wow, okay, that's pretty cool. I was still waiting to see a scene where Sylvester Stallone's like, I'll tell you, we once had a guy pretend to be a robot for Polly for a month. Oh my gosh, you should have seen his face when you realized it wasn't real. But they just decide to let's not acknowledge the stupid stuff. I like where they go with, it's like, what's Rocky's relationship like with his son? Because we didn't see his son in the last film. I mean, Rocky was going through cancer treatments and his son never showed up. So they're like, well, what's going on with that? And I like that's the thing. Every part of the story and interpersonal relationship with the characters, I get where they're coming from. I get where they're going. I understand their feelings when one isn't going to do something, or when one is mad at the other. I fully understand it. The character stuff is great. It's the boxing stuff that I think is a little bit more by the book and a little predictable here and there. And a few things happen that are like a little bit of a rehash. It's just Donnie's like, I gotta take this fight. Well, why do you need to take this fight? No, I gotta take this fight. Well, why? Why do you need to take this fight? Are you gonna be with me or not? Well, fine, I'll be with you, but you didn't ask me my question. A few things here and there was like, oh, I'm so sick and tired of him saying, I have to do this, and people saying, well, why? And he says, well, I just gotta. A few times I've been like, I've seen it, don't need to see that again. But I think what goes the extra mile with this is we have the villains that I think you can actually sympathize and relate with. That goes a long way in my book, because I'm so sick of just typical villains that you just can't even go with. And the way they handle the villains in the end of the movie, I actually think is really cool. I don't want to do a whole lot in the spoiler talk of this movie, but there's something I want to talk about. And I think that's really, really interesting. In fact, I don't think there's anything else I need to talk about that isn't spoiler related, so let's get down to my rating. I'm going to give Creed 2 a 7.5 out of 10. I think it's a really good movie. I think it could be an 8 almost. It's just, I felt it was a little bit of rehash, a little bit of, I kind of seen this, but overall, as I say, the interpersonal stuff going on with the story, with the characters, I think works extremely well, and that's why I am giving it a 7.5 out of 10. I think it's a really good movie, and you should definitely see it. If you like the first Creed, if you like the Rocky franchise, this is definitely a must-see. Thumbs up all around. Right, now it's time for my spoiler warning, and I just want to really talk about this one thing, the ending of the fight. I love that. Because the whole movie we've been showing Ivan Drago as this heartless creature that doesn't even care. It's like when his ex-wife sits across the line, you can just tell that, they don't even have to say anything, but you can just tell in his heart, he's almost trying to win her back. He's not doing this for his country. He's not doing this. He's trying to show her almost look what this mistake you made. Look how great our boy has become. But the way he treats his son is almost like a soldier, you know? It's like, when I tell you to run faster, you run faster. You know, it's like, and when it's like in the first fight, you know, where Ivan Drago's beating the crap out of, you know, Donnie, it's just like, well, why is he still up? Why is he still standing? You know, stuff like that is great. But then the end, I loved, because they show that Victor Drago is going all out, even though there's a point where he's lost the fight. He's lost it. He can't get his arms up. Donnie's hammering him left, right, and center. And it's like Ivan realizes he's lost the fight. So what does he do? He throws in the towel. Yes! Oh my gosh, it's great! Because in that one moment, it might seem like a little thing, but no. Because in that one moment, he saved his son's reputation. You know? His son was fighting on it with everything he had, everything in him. And by throwing it, you can have everybody else say, oh, you know, Ivan really was the one that lost that fight. Victor was getting a second win. He was going to win. And then Ivan threw in the towel because he was having a couple of bad hits. He lost it for him. You know, he saved his son's reputation. Now everyone can blame it on Ivan Drago. Because in his mind, he's already disgraced. I'm already the disgraced guy who lost to Rocky. Now this is my chance to save my son's reputation. I can tell he's lost, but he's not going to lose the way I lost. I'm going to save him the only way I know how. And he sacrifices his own pride and his own, desire to see Rocky broken, to save his son's reputation. And I love that. And just the little stuff they do with him trying to look at his mother, and then his son just walks away, and he's like, "How? These are the people that kicked you out, that sent you away. How can you do this? How can you want their approval?" And he goes, I lost. Basically saying, I deserve this. You know, I lost, therefore anything that's dealt my way, any punishment, is what I deserve. Honestly, I would love to see a Drago movie. Give it... You know what? If there's anything that would soften tensions with Russia and the United States, give Drago his own movie. Release it in Russia. Release it in Russian. I would still see it. Russian and subtitles. As I said, the boxing stuff maybe a little by the book, but a great and relatable villain and the great character stuff they got going on really gives it an over-enthusiastic thumbs up from me. So thanks for watching, everybody. I'm Lazy Dude. See you around.
Be sure to check out some of these other videos on my channel. And wait for more coming soon.